is being recorded by our host.
There it is.
Window.
All right.
Alert, this meeting is being recorded.
All right, do your thing.
All right, thank you, John.
Yep.
Well, we got a smaller group tonight, which is not a bad thing. And hopefully we can get through these topics in short order, because we'll have less questions. So let's get
Zoom
started.
meeting window.
Okay, so usually when I start these things, I start with some latest news and housekeeping things. So Ann and Patty, you guys have heard about the latest Facebook stuff, right? The metaverse and all the stuff
Yes.
happening.
Yes,
Okay.
Facebook.
So they've been kind of battling PR, lack of a better word, poop storm, because they've been exposed doing things that are not above board, not illegal, not immoral, but not above board with all of the people that are out there on their platform. So what they're trying to do is create this metaverse for multiple reasons, but one of the reasons is to try to distract our attention away from the Facebook things and focus on this new metaverse thing. Now, the metaverse, to explain what the metaverse is, according to Zuckerberg and company, what they're going to do is they're going to try to create like virtual 3D kind of conversations. I know that sounds strange. So right now, when you're on Facebook and you're talking to somebody, either by phone or if you're texting them, you're doing it through your screen, and they receive your message or they hear you speaking. What this is going to do is you're going to buy stuff from Facebook. They're going to get into the business of selling you stuff and selling you this service. And what you're going to need is kind of like a headset and some other things. And they're going to immerse you into like a three-dimensional version of conversation. Just like if you're talking to people right in front of you in your own space, in your own home. They're going to do that with computers. Now, I imagine in the beginning, they're not going to be able to render human beings like perfectly. So they're going to use like these avatars or these cartoony versions of people. And when they smile, their avatars are going to smile at you. It's going to be more of that kind of immersive environment, according to these guys. That's kind of what the metaverse is really talking about, taking that communication to a next level, adding a dimension to the communications. But for us, it's not going to make much difference because this is a visual layer they're going to be adding, like a three-dimensional visual layer. So you got to have pretty good vision to really appreciate that. So I'm not sure what the metaverse means to us at the end of the day. But it's going to shorten distances between people and give you a fuller, better interactive experience. For example, like if you're working from home and you want that office experience, so you feel like you're at work, but you want to be at home. Well, this whole metaverse thing with the headset and everything else can make your whole environment around you like an office. People walking around, even people can be with you in that office on this platform. And that's what this is. It's kind of creating these three-dimensional virtual spaces that you can play in. That's what the metaverse is all about. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to.
They did that years ago in science fiction.
Yes, it's a page out of science fiction.
Yes, and is that like the holograms?
If I were to give it a bad analogy, I don't know if you ever watched Star Trek: The Next Generation, not the first one, but the Next Generation in the 80s.
Some.
Yeah, when they go to that holodeck, that's what they're talking about, that kind of stuff. But in Star Trek, it's really nice because you don't have to wear any equipment or have any sensors around you to figure out what's going on. And then, this is going to be very a bad version of that to start out with. And what the problem that Facebook is having is that the average age of the people who use Facebook is about 41, and they want to tap that younger crowd that's on TikTok and all these other platforms, because they need to keep growing their base. And this is kind of their way of trying to get those people, the younger people, into the platform. The Meta platform may not be Facebook, because Facebook is now sort of a subsidiary of the new Meta name, but it's really the same company. They're doing the same thing and they're advertising. They sell advertising, but they're doing it with this whole new metaverse technology.
I
That's
don't
kind of
do
what I
Facebook.
wanted to explain. 'Cause,
No, that's good. I don't do Facebook.
yeah, I mean, probably for us, it's not going to make much difference, but it's good to know what they might be talking
Yeah,
about when they say
it
this
is.
stuff. So, yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to go over. So, yes, it's just what you got now with a three-dimensional environment around you, a virtually computer-generated environment. I'm a old fogey. I like to just talk to people directly. That's my 3D. So, but again, onward and forward, with this. So, any questions? Anybody on this? Okay. So, the other thing I wanted to mention was for those of us, I don't know if you have vaccinations and you need your records, you can't really travel out of the country or back into the country without proof of vaccination. And what I mean by proof is you got to have a bona fide digital record of your vaccination, or you have to prearrange it with your airlines or whatever that you have been vaccinated and you're okay. Domestic travel within the United States is not really affected yet, but things are changing in that front too. So what you have to do to get your digital vaccination record is if you got your vaccinations, let's say it's CVS, you got to contact them and tell them you want your vaccination record, and they will send it to you in an electronic file. Then that electronic file can be shown to whoever needs to see it, and it's a tamper-proof file. That's what's different about it. Because if you take a picture of a card, that can be tampered with, but they're going to send you sort of this Q code thing, kind of a barcode-y Q code thing that you can't mess with, and they scan it, and then that's hooked up to a database somewhere, and then it's a bona fide Q code that belongs to you. Then say, oh yes, Annie is vaccinated, or Manny is vaccinated. Continue.
And
of
I
course,
call them.
Like, where did you, like, I don't want to get your personal, but did you go to CVS or someplace like that? Or where
We
did you
had a
get
clinic
vaccinated?
here from last spring from CVS,
So
but I
you
got my booster from Walgreens.
So you would call both of those places and they would coordinate that, and that they would get you the file, because it's your file. It's your vaccination record. So if you ever need it, you have it. It doesn't have to be put into Apple Wallet if you don't want to. That's just a feature they've added. But you can keep it and be able to show it as a Q code, and then that will always work. It's like a form of identification almost nowadays. And being fully vaccinated is kind of a moving target, because before it was, two times. Now it's 2 times in a booster, I think. I don't know. I haven't kept up with it that much. So you always want to keep that up to date and have your latest digital vaccination record with you. So in case you do want to travel to a place or somewhere where you need to show that, you've got it on your phone and you don't need to worry about it. So that's kind of what I wanted to put that out there. Yeah.
Where does it go on the phone?
It just ends up being a file, like an image file, and you would bring it up. Might be in your Photos app, or you could put it inside your wallet or inside of your health app. There's places to store these files, and then you could reveal that to whatever authority needs that record for you to do something. Enter a park where they have to be required, or travel to Canada, or Mexico or something. I think, I don't want to put Patty on the spot, but I think she had to show hers coming back from Mexico in this recent trip. Are you there, Patty?
Yes, I had to show it leaving and coming back.
And they asked you for the physical card, or what did they ask you for?
Yeah, I had the physical card at that time.
Okay.
And I was so afraid that I was going to lose it. So I think it's good to have it, digital file. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can have both, in case you want to show the cards, but as long as they're yours and they're verifiable, because the problem is that someone else could copy your card and change the name or do something, and
Yeah.
then it would look okay, but it wouldn't
Mhm.
be a valid vaccination
Right.
record. Yeah,
Well, they were selling fraudulent cards.
that's right. That's
Isn't
right.
that crazy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very nuts.
What if
So-
you don't have a cell phone?
I think you might be able to even print it out. See, it's an image. It's a black
I
and
know the
white.
Q code, yes.
Yeah, it's a Q code. You
that-
could do, I mean, you could do it like any other card. You could print it out, get it laminated.
Mm.
You're done, just show it and they could just scan it and say,
Mhm.
oh yeah, that's Annie's stuff, no problem.
Okay, well,
Not-
that's
not,
good to know.
Annie's
I'll do-
copy of Patty's stuff or whatever. Yeah, so,
I'll do that.
no.
I
Okay,
like to keep up. I like to keep up.
yeah. When this gets published, the others will see it and I'll have notes, and everything we've talked about will be in notes. So everyone will be able to enjoy that news. So, all right, well, moving on. I wanted to talk about AirTags. I'm sure you guys have heard of AirTags. They've been out since April of this year.
Yes,
And what they do is they're chip locators. They're about the size of a nickel, okay? And they use little watch batteries to power their electronics. If you can believe electronics is small, wait till you look at these things. So they run for about $29 each, or you can get a 4-pack for $100. And what you do is you'll have an app on your phone and you'll configure them there, and then you can just drop them anywhere. And then when you need to locate something, you can then find them using the Find My app. So for example, a lot of people might use them for their keys. So you put it on your keychain, you go, where did I put my keys? It's behind the couch, under the cushion. Well, you can have it look for Find My AirTag, whatever you want to call it, your key AirTag, whatever you want to call it. And it will tell you, oh, it's close. And then this precision locator comes up and tells you almost exactly how far it is away. Your phone will beep, or your phone will vibrate faster and faster as you get closer and closer to it. And it's a really good way to tag things and find them. So you could use it for just about anything. Unfortunately, though, Apple doesn't sell any of the things you need to attach them to like your keychain or to something else. So you'd have to buy those separate. So for example, if you wanted to put them on your keychain, there's a little guy that you buy that you put that tag in, and it attaches to your keychain like a key, and then it just sits with your keys, and then you can find your keys. So they're kind of nice if you're prone to losing things. And if you get 4 of them, well, you can tag a bunch of stuff. You can tag all kinds of things. The great thing about AirTags is that they become your property. So you can always find them with Find My. And if someone else finds your AirTag or takes your AirTag, they can't use it because it's tied to you. And if you think someone might be using an AirTag on you, maybe they dropped an AirTag into your purse or on your person, and they're trying to follow you, your phone will tell you if there's another AirTag in the area that's not yours, and it'll tell you right away.
Wow.
So
well, that's good.
So that keeps people
That's
from being a
good.
little sneaky with it, because they thought this out. So I'm only mentioning it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna tell you, I was thinking that could have been good for when the airport in Mexico. It was, oh my God, it was so big. I couldn't find my suitcase because I had put a little sound identifier and it fell.
Oh.
So I had this little keychain that I've used before, right? And I think it was an old one. I should have got a new one. And it got lost, and the way they throw the luggage around.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of hard to find my luggage. I'm like, oh, I could have used that one with
That's
my
another
phone.
good reason to get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can pack it inside your bag, like in your luggage, just as long as it doesn't need to be like like on a satin pillow where you could never break. It's kind of a tough little device, little nickel-sized device.
Right.
It's pretty solid. Put it in there, and then when it comes around the little carrier, or the whatever they call that thing, that has your
Carousel.
luggage on it. Yeah,
Carousel.
carousel. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. So you can turn on your Find My, and as it gets closer, your
Mhm.
phone will start acting up, and if it's real close, it
Yeah.
acts up a lot more. So that's your
Yep.
bag. Just grab it.
Oh yeah, because like I said, mine, I've used it whenever I travel, but you can't put it inside the suitcase. You have to put it in the outside, and I think it just broke.
Yeah.
So a bunch of people had the same suitcase as mine. That was very terrible.
Yeah, you could stick this this AirTag right in the middle of all the packing you did in your clothes, right dead center of it if you wanted to, with the clothes all around it, and your phone will pick it up. It's that strong.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about losing external labeling or strings or whatever it is that
Right.
you use. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think the reason I mention it is because, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
those little beepers that I've used, they've been real good, for a long time. But
Yeah.
when they fail good.
Well, these are pretty conservative with battery power. So when you put like a little watch battery in there, it uses a standard watch battery. It lasts for a long time, long time. That's what I've been told. I don't have any of these AirTags, but I'm thinking about it because I really wouldn't mind putting one on my keys. Because every once in a while, I lose my keys and I get so frustrated I can't find them. And 9 times out of 10, they're on the filing cabinet in my office. And I've been looking everywhere from under couches and everything. And I could just do Find My on the phone and point to it right away. So it might be something. And the reason I bring it up is because it might be a good Christmas gift.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Patty. I
Maybe
didn't mean to interrupt
we'll ask Santa.
We'll ask Annie Santa Annie to see what's going on. So anyway, any questions on AirTags, or it's pretty straightforward stuff with AirTags, I think.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for that.
Okay. So I was going to move on then. So have you guys ever had any duplicate contacts in your contact list? You import them, or you change your phones and you find out you got 2 or 3 of the same thing.
Yeah.
Well,
just once, and I took it out.
Yeah. So what you can do in the Contacts app, I really don't need to show you this. It's more of a conceptual thing. In your Contacts app, you have a really cool feature, the search feature. So obviously, if you have multiple people under the same name, let's say Manny Solis is in your contacts twice, which I like, but maybe you wouldn't. And the thing is, you want to get rid of one of them. So how do you find them? So you just type Manny or Manny Solis, and then of course, all of them will come up, and then you would choose the one you want to delete. Now that's pretty standard fare, but here's another cool thing. What if you wanted to know in your contacts, how many people have AOL addresses or Gmail addresses? Well, that works for that too. You could say, all of your contacts that have a gmail.com address, you would just type gmail.com in your search bar, and all of your contacts with Gmail addresses will come up right there. It's a great filtering mechanism. That works for street names, cities, zip codes, anything that you can search on that's in your contact record, you can stick in that search bar and find it real quick. Actually, this little thing I'm talking about is less about finding duplicates and more about that search function. And it's a great way to locate your contacts, even if you don't have their name. If you know that they lived on Cushing Street, well, you just type in Cushing, and all your contacts that have Cushing in their contact record will come up. So it's really a great way to locate your contacts for whatever you want to do. And I just thought I'd share that in case,
Interesting.
It's time of year. So.
Grouping your different groups,
Yeah, unfortunately on the iPhone, if you're talking about actually grouping contacts, I don't know why they don't offer that on the iPhone. You have to go to a computer, log into the browser, into iCloud.com, navigate through all that mess, get to your contacts, then you can create and manage groups there. I'm not sure why that's not on the iPhone yet. So that's probably one I need to put a pin in and call my friends at Apple and say, hey, what gives here? You know, obvious thing that we need, it's not there. The funny thing though, is if you already have groups established with iCloud, you know, you've already done it in the iCloud app, iCloud browser, in the browser, they'll appear as groups that you can navigate to on your phone, but you can't create them on your phone, which is so weird. So who knows what that's all about? So, so any questions on searching for items in your contact list or finding duplicates or anything of that nature?
No,
Okay. This is going pretty fast, actually.
yeah, I'll be ready for bed.
So I wanted to reiterate this next one. There is a feature in settings called phone noise cancellation. And that is in under settings, accessibility, and audio video. And if, you know, as we get older, and I'm talking about myself here mainly, you know, my hearing isn't as acute as it used to be. So I need everything I can to clear up and clean up a call. So this phone noise cancellation, what it does, it takes all the background noises that you're listening to, and it tries to filter them out and just have the voice on its own prominent. Because sometimes you get a lot of background noise that interferes. So that's what this thing does. And I just wanted to reiterate that that's a good thing to have, since a lot of people are going to be on the phone this time of year. Maybe it can help them hear better, you know. So that, and then it's also setting about two guys underneath that called background noise, background sounds, not noise. And what that does is if you're in like a semi kind of noisy environment, let's say that you have something that's not too blasting, but it's always drawing your attention away from what you're doing, you can set up like a rain sound or some kind of natural sounds on your phone to give you like an ambient sound while you're working. And it seems to help people concentrate. So that's a cool little feature. Explore that one. That's in the same menu. It's just like two down from the noise cancellation. It's called background sounds. And I think the default one is rain. And when you turn it on, it's just the sound of rain. And you, of course, you can adjust the volume to wherever you like it. And it kind of keeps you in a better state of concentration. So you're not listening to the little things here and there that might be distracting you from whatever you're doing. So kind of a nice little feature. So put down.
I'm looking at it. That is, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, just so, you know, if you do it in a quiet room, it doesn't make any sense. But if you have a low level noise problem in your house, let's say you have kids in the other room and they're a little bit loud, just loud enough to just distract you, you can turn this on and then it draws your attention, but it keeps you focused. The guys at Apple have figured out ways to help you not get so distracted in whatever you're doing, or it gives you a soothing feeling because it's a natural sound. Kind of like those clock radios or those radios that would do those natural white noise sounds and rain and things. That's what this is all about. So kind of a neat little feature they've added in 15 to the phone here. Oh. Okay. So the next guy on my list is Barbara asked me to look this up. And I don't know if this is something you, Annie, or Patty, that you would want to do, but sometimes when you have multiple calendars connected, or even just one, some people don't like to see all the holidays. So there's a way to turn the holidays off. So if you don't want to see Thanksgiving, or, you know, and it's holidays are tied to the country that you're in. Of course, we have US holidays. If you're across the world, you have their holidays. But nowadays we have holidays for everything. Like every other day, there's a holiday for this, holiday for that. And they show up on your calendar. And if you wanted to remove those, it's not hard to do. And I can show you how to do that.
7:07 p.m.
So I'm gonna get out my handy little iPhone here
7:07 p.m.
and let me open this up.
Button.
So
Calendar.
what we're gonna
Tuesday.
do,
No.
we're gonna go into calendar. That's how you get to this.
Calendar. Tuesday. Calendar. No.
So if you have a normal setup on your calendar, like I have a normal, I think it's, well, I don't know what view this is.
Selected. List. Button. Month.
So I've got a month view with 1 to 31, and then I've got the list of events for the current day that I got selected. But the most important thing when we're talking about these holidays is we need to go into this bottom option, bottom center. It's called
Toolbar. Calendars.
calendars.
Button.
So you go into there,
Calendar.
and I will find it real
Calendars.
quick here.
Heading. Contacts. Derominate. iCloud. Hide all. Home. Work. Other. Show all. U.S. holidays. Subscribe. Button.
So you have a US holiday
Actions available.
calendar. So the way your calendar works, even if you just have one calendar with one email address, it's actually a combined view because you have the US holiday calendar in with it and your calendar together at least. So if I were to turn that off, if I were to double tap on it and say unsubscribe to the holiday calendar, all the holidays on my calendar will be removed and only my events will show. So that's how you clean that up if you're interested in doing that. And that's Barbara asked me to show that one. That's why I'm showing it. So calendar, and then bottom calendar button, and then US holiday calendars. You can subscribe or unsubscribe. You would tap twice with VoiceOver on to toggle the subscription to holidays. And that's how that works. Let me see here. Next one. See here. Okay, so I did some research on Zoom, the actual program we're using right now. And I got some good news and I got some not so good news. So out of all of the collaborative apps that are out there, like GoToMeeting and Teams and all these other ones, there's a zillion of them out there. My understanding is that Zoom has the best accessibility. However, that accessibility really extends to computers, like a Windows machine or a Mac machine. Not so much on an iPhone or iPad. And I mean, accessibility does work with the programs on these, but you can't raise your hand with a gesture. You have to find the participants guy, tap on that, go to the menu, say raise hand. Where in a Windows machine or a Mac machine, you would hit Control or Alt Y, depending on which one. And then that would actually raise the hand. So if you're using a laptop or desktop computer with a keyboard, then Zoom is a great accessible keyboard shortcut kind of app to use. With our iPhones and iPad, the only thing you can really do with our gestures is you can mute and unmute yourself with a 2-finger double tap. You can mute yourself and then you can unmute. But you can't do any other functions just with swiping or tapping gestures, at least as far as I know. So that's kind of where Zoom is. I just wanted to let you guys know in case, if you wanted to get better with it and you wanted to use some accessibility options, you might want to try Zoom like I'm doing it. I'm doing it for my computer. If I wanted to raise my hand, I would hit Alt Y and then my hand would be raised and John would see my hand. But from the iPhone, you have to go through a couple of steps. And the problem is that VoiceOver's talking and the people in the meeting are talking. So they compete for resources. It's really tough to do it that way. So now I don't know if you hooked up a keyboard to your iPhone, if that would work. I haven't tried that. That might be something I need to look into. But then you got another device you have to worry about. So I don't know if that's any better. So, but that's what I got for Zoom this time. I think they've done a good job, but I think it would be really nice if they could go into iOS, iPads, and iPhones and be able to let us use gestures to raise our hand, like a Z swipe or a Y swipe or something, or whatever they would want to do. And that would be so much
That would be
easier
good.
to navigate.
That would be
And I might
excellent.
suggest that on their, they got a suggestion portal. Maybe I'll suggest that, maybe it'll get through. So I'll make a note to myself. I got this video note, so I got to do it now. So I'm gonna do it, see what happens. So we'll put a pin in that one and see if they respond. Okay, so that's that. Moving along. Okay, so when you move to iOS 15, they moved the address search bar in Safari to the bottom. Okay, and it's not hard to move it back to the top. The way you do that, if you want the classic way that it looked before 15, it's real easy. You can move it from either top to bottom by this setting. So the way you do that is you have to go into Safari, which I'm going to do now.
7:13 p. Try again. Button.
Okay.
Calendar.
It's funny how they mix these things up. Sometimes you go into settings to do things. Sometimes you got to go right into the app to do things. And I wish there was an easy way to delineate which one is which. So I'm going to go into Safari.
Safari. Safari. Favorites.
Okay. So let's see here. I'll just go into my site.
Homepage. Homepage. Manny Celis. Web page loaded. Global navigate.
So there on your bar, whether it's on the top or bottom, you have this button called AA, I think.
Page settings. Button.
Page settings. So you
Actions available.
double tap on that.
Page scale. 100. Show reader. I toolbar. But request desktop website. But website settings. Privacy report. Show bottom tab bar. Button.
So we keep going.
Show bottom tab. Privacy web request. Show reader. Page scale. Page settings. Page show reader. I toolbar. Request desktop website. Website settings. Privacy report. Show bottom tab bar. Button.
I think that's where it's at. You move it that way, and then if it's at the bottom, that will change to show it to the top. So that's how I moved it to the top before this class. I actually moved it from the bottom to the top with this menu. So that's what you do. You find the AA button, find the appropriate menu item, double tap it, and then the bar will move up or down depending on what you chose. So
What
that's
is
how
the
you get-
menu item?
Show bottom tab bar. Button.
So I believe that's it there. I believe that's it. It's very self-explanatory when you bring it up. When you do your swipes to the right, you'll hear it, and it'll say either top or bottom. So that's kind of how that one works. So let me go back.
Show reader. Button. Page settings. Button.
Let me try that again.
Actions available. Page settings. Button. Page scale. 100%. Show reader. Button. I toolbar. Button. Request desktop website. Button. Website settings. Button.
Oh, by the way, I don't know have you ever looked at request desktop website? Do you know what that is?
No,
No.
Oh,
no.
when web designers build websites, okay, they build basically kind of two versions. One that's mobile friendly with small screens, and one that's desktop friendly. So what you can do is if the site's not rendering properly and you know that it renders great on your computer, it doesn't render well on your phone, you can request the desktop version of the website and it will load in that version instead of the mobile version. Sites that are built very well will figure out what kind of device you have and what kind of real estate your screen has, and it will actually give you the best fit for your screen. Usually the mobile version is more simplified, less clutter, which is always a good thing. But if it doesn't display properly, you can then override that setting and say, give me that desktop version of the site. That's what that is. And, okay. So a little extra bit there. So,
Page setting.
all right. All right, so let me put that down. Let's see what we got here. All right, so the next guy. So Annie, I think you're familiar with this one. So this might be just review for you. You too, Patty. You can customize the rotor menu.
Yes,
So let's say if you are browsing the internet, you can take, I don't know, what? You can take
Heading.
headings, yes, headings, and put that to the very top. So
I
the
did
very,
that.
yeah, so the very first time you do that rotor gesture, it'll say headings right away instead of words, characters, blah, 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 and headings. So if you ever go to the rotor menu and a rotor customization menu, there's like a bunch of stuff, but only the ones that are specific or germane to what you're doing at the time will show up on the list. So like if you're in a text field, well, you're not going to get headings, but if you're in Safari, you'll get headings and you'll get links and you'll get things like that. That's why there's a bunch of them. But what you can do is take the ones that you want the most and you can send them to the top. Let's say if you want to do it and you want to change the speaking rate for some reason, be it the first thing, well, you move speaking rate to the top. And as soon as you do a gesture, speaking rate will be the first item instead of the fourth or fifth. So,
Mhm.
and I think you get there through settings, accessibility, and then rotor. And then once you go into rotor, and then be careful, there's two rotor things. There's a rotor and then a rotor actions. You want to go to rotor, and that's going to give you the list of all of the rotor items that you can enable or disable, and then you can order them however you like. So very good, Ed. That's very, I'm glad you did that. So that saves a little time.
I
Okay.
cut out, I unenabled a lot of them too,
Yes,
until
because
I know, so I didn't have to go, I'm trying to learn it and there's too many to go through, so
that's so
until
smart.
I know what they are and how I need them, I can always go in and check them.
To me, that is wonderful you did that because you want the device to work for you and you not for it. You don't want to be jumping through 10 hoops to get to something.
No,
Just hit one maybe, or zero if you could do that, if it was possible. So yeah, that's very good, very good. Okay, so they fixed email with Siri, and I was going to review that, and how you create an email, how so are you aware of how to do that, Anne? Are you use Siri to
do
send
with
email?
Siri,
Mhm.
I think I've used her before,
Okay, so basically what you do is you tell her to send an email.
yeah.
It's going to ask you or you could preload it, say new email to Patty Green, and it'll
Mhm.
say, what's the topic for the email? And you say test, and then what do you want to say? And then you dictate the body in. If you want to change the body, let's say you foobarred it, it didn't come out right, it didn't sound right when she repeated it back to you, you can just say change, and then you can re-record the body. Or you could say add and add more to the body.
Yeah,
Or you could say change subject, you could change the subject. Or you can just say, oh, she'll ask you, this is the email, blah, blah, blah. Here it is, boom, boom, boom. Do you want to send it? And that's when you use the change or add or say yes, or you say cancel. And that's all working again, thankfully, because for a while there, I was really depressed. And a lot of my students were going, what's going on? Because that's how we learn to send emails. So I don't know
well,
what happened.
it's about the same as far as I'm concerned as text message.
That's
I
right.
use
That's right.
I use her a lot on the text message. I don't do
Absolutely
much
right.
on the email. The hardest part for me is to dictate
That's
and
right.
to really think about what I'm going to say and punctuation.
That's a
Not
very
have it.
important point because that's an art in itself. Because when I dictate, it's not like I'm talking to you now, or
Right.
when I dictate, I have to kind of over enunciate and put artificial space in, like a C spot run period. How
Right.
did he run? Where I'm talking to you, C spot run. How did he run? Question mark. And with a phone, it's not as smart as a human, even though they say it's smart, it's not. So it just does
Mhm.
its best to figure out voice patterns and match them up.
Yeah, but
So
it
you have
works
to-
well.
Yeah.
It works
So
well. I'm practicing now.
yeah, and the thing to do, the biggest key is to not try to do the whole dictation in one shot. Do a piece at a time. You can always
Mhm.
dictate more, and then you can kill the last section if you need to, like backspacing it out, or there's other ways of doing it which we haven't gone over yet. But the thing is, short and sweet and to the point if you can, especially with text messages, and you should be good to go most of the time.
Mhm.
So, all right, so let's go to the next thing since we're already good there. Okay, so one thing I wanted to talk about is lists. Now, we've touched on lists before. So what lists are? Lists are actually, like a grocery list or a shopping list. And you can create many of them. You could create a grocery list. You could create a Home Depot list. You could create a Christmas list for Manny or Patty or whoever. And these are all separate lists that live on your phone. And you can add to them. You could say, create grocery. You could say add apples to grocery list. And if the list isn't there, it'll create it, but it'll ask you first. And you say, yeah, go ahead and create the grocery list, and it'll put the apples on there. And then when you buy the apples, you then tell Siri to clear the apples off the list. And if it's the only thing on the list will be completely cleared. So it's a great when you're in a store and you have your list all done before the store. Or if you need to add something while you're in the store, you just thought of something, you can add it in real time, and your list will be kept up by your iPhone. So you could say, what is on my grocery list? And it'll say, you have apples and bananas. Okay. And then when you go grab a thing of bananas and put them in your cart, you could say, clear bananas on my grocery list. And then bananas will be cleared off of it. And then if you ask it what's on your list, the other thing will still be there, apples. Same thing with anything else. They're just lists, and they're there for you to use. And you can use Siri to do the whole thing. You can create them, add to them, you can edit them, and then you can clear stuff off the list, which is in essence like deleting items off the list, but they call it clearing. You got to use the clear keyword for that to work. Very nice when you're in a store and you don't want to carry papers around or try to remember what you need to get. Patty and I have used lists before. She'll have me go to the store, like if we're not in the same place, she'll send me a list. We don't do it all the time because we're not that crazy, but we can do it. And she'll send me a list, and I'll bring it up in the store, and then I have my shopping list, and I get everything on the list. It's really a nice little feature. Whatever you used to do on paper, you can pretty much do on your phone if you know how to tell it what to do. So that's kind of what I wanted to get with that, with Christmas and all and shopping. Maybe start stretching your list legs and make lists and go to the stores and see how it works for you. Have a paper backup just in case, if you're not sure. But it'd be good to exercise those skills, if you're in a store. All right. Any questions on lists? Or are we okay? Let's see. Okay, Barbara asked me about this one. Let me just make sure I got those. Okay, I did it. Sorry, I lost my place. Okay, Barbara asked me to do this one, and this was muting video during your phone call. If you're on the phone and you're talking to somebody, it's not smart enough to know that if your face touches the screen that you didn't want that to happen. Because if you have it close to your ear, you could touch your face, and your face is skin. So it detects that as a tap, and it'll start talking. So what you can do to sort of mitigate that or get it to be quiet and not talk so much, you could do a 3-finger double tap when you're in a phone call. It won't end the call. It'll just turn speech off. And then you can talk and not worry about it yapping in the background every time your face touches the screen. And that's kind of what this is about. This is about helping with calls. You could also just have them on speaker, but if you have people around, you don't want for them to hear the call, then that doesn't work. So there's many ways to do this, but this is one way to silence voiceover while you're on a call. And of course, when you're done with the call, you would turn speech back on with the same gesture, 3 fingers 2 times.
Mhm.
So, and if you have Zoom on your phone, that gesture changes from 2 taps to 3 fingers 3 taps, just so you know, because for some reason, that's the way it works when you have Zoom on. Zoom is the 3 finger 2 tap now instead of the speech thing. So I don't know if that makes any sense. So if you have the screen Zoom on, it changes the gesture for speech as well. So, but if you don't have it on, then no worries. It's just 3 fingers twice. Okay, so next one. Okay, this is the one I was looking forward to doing. Have you guys ever used Be My Eyes app? You ever?
Yes, a lot.
Okay, so I was going to demo that tonight, but since you use it and or Patty, do you want me to demo it for you? Are you want to see what it does?
Sure.
Okay, so I got a can of something here. I'm going to call up the app and see if it can, if the person on the other end can identify it for me. So this is old hat to you, Ann. So I hope it doesn't bore you to death. So let me see what's going on here. So I got a can of something. I'll put it in front of here. I have no idea what it is. Some kind of, I don't know what. We'll find out.
Find out where they are. I'm
Yeah.
always interested.
7:28 p.m.
Where are they?
Are you talking about the person who's going to help me?
Safari,
Yes, find out where they are.
Safari,
That's interesting.
Okay.
Amazon. Page 2 of 3. Thrive.
Don't they charge
Page
you
3
for
of
it?
3. My cloud.
No,
No.
no, that's Ira.
So
Oh.
Be My Eyes is an app in the App Store. You download it. You got to fill in your email and a few other little things. They send you a confirmation email, and then you're connected. And then when you open the app, you make sure you push the button where you need the help and not the other one where you offer help. Let me just make sure.
Right.
That's what it is.
My eyes.
So Be My Eyes is
My
coming
eyes.
up,
In progress.
and we're
Get
waiting.
live video support. Specialized help. Button. Call a volunteer.
So you want to choose call a volunteer. That's the biggest thing on the screen. It takes up the whole screen. And it's if for visual people, it's a blue color with white lettering. So I'm going to do that. Let's see what happens. Hi. I was wondering if you could help me identify. I'm visually impaired, obviously, and I just wanted to understand what I have in front of me here. It's a can or something. Can you see it?
Yes, it is.
Um,
It looks like a can of Hunt's
do I need to tilt it a
diced
certain way?
tomatoes.
Oh, great.
Hunt's no salt added diced basil, garlic, and oregano tomatoes.
Oh, that sounds good. Wow.
Yes.
Can I ask you one more thing? I know there's a nutrition label on here. How many servings are in the can, and what's the calories? Because I got to watch my calories. I wanted to see if.
Okay, honey, it's very blurry.
Oh, go back a little bit.
Well, it's still mighty blurry, and yeah, it's pixelating. Keep turning though. Keep turning.
Oh, you want to turn it? Okay.
I'll see. Yeah, keep turning. Okay, there's your calories and stuff. Now, calories, it's really pixelating. It looks like it's 35 calories. I'm trying to see if I can.
I'm sorry.
No, you're perfectly fine, honey. I don't know why it's doing that. Calories is 35. What else did you need to know?
How many servings are in the can so I can figure out what the total?
Yes, it's hold on, because my husband's gonna it's Hunt's diced tomatoes. Look it up real quick. I might even have one in the kitchen.
I can.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're perfectly fine. Let me see if I have something similar, because we use that quite a bit.
While we're waiting, are you guys in Arizona or are you guys some other place?
No, we are in Ponca City, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Wow.
Oklahoma. Okay, so now tell me what you want again. I got it up.
Just a number of servings.
A half a cup of servings. Well, it says about 3.5 servings per container.
Oh, great. Okay. That's all I
And
needed.
it's 30 calories.
All right. I think that's all I need. I just want to be sure I got the right can. That's what I was worried about. So,
Okay, honey.
All right.
Are you sure that's it?
that's it. I appreciate your help. I really appreciate it.
Oh, very much so. Have a great evening.
You too. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Are you sure you want to
Wow.
Yes.
So you can see the value of Be My
Yeah.
Eyes. It's a wonderful service. And the lady was very
Yeah.
personable with me. And
And
I think
you
I
came
need
on
to
fast.
use it. Yeah.
yeah,
I
so
thought that you charge. I thought they charge you for calls or something.
no, I think Ann is right. I think Ira is the one that charges after so many minutes. But
You get a free, the way I understand it, you get a free 5 minutes. And after that, they will charge you unless you're in Target or one of the places that they pay for it.
gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
But they also say that they are trained and you can ask them more personal stuff, I believe. You want to be careful with Be My Eyes, that they're just volunteers. And
That's
you
right.
don't
I
know
wanted
who
to
you're
mention
dealing
that.
with.
Thank you.
You don't know
Yes,
who you're
absolutely.
dealing with. You don't know an IRA too. I would hesitate to do financial stuff.
I
under
would,
the
yeah,
phone.
I would never show credit cards or socials or any account
Yeah.
information. Just identify cans and objects, very safe things, Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
But they're wonderful services.
They are. They are. I can't believe it's that I could get that help. I mean, if I'm stuck and my seeing AI doesn't work or whatever, that's like a godsend. And the reason that it was pixelating is because my lighting here is focused on me instead of the object. And I don't want to tell her that she was on the spot. I don't know what she was, but I was just
Right.
trying to
Yeah,
get her
you
to.
You
But
handled
she
that
correctly
well.
identified it.
Made her feel good.
Yeah, she was very nice. That was very good. Well, I've only got 2 things left. I don't know how we're doing on time, but I wanted
Well,
to talk about, let me see. Go ahead, Ann. I'm sorry.
Well, I said, let's do it. I'm getting tired.
Okay.
I get tired at this hour.
Okay, so the second to the last thing is a thing called shortcuts. And I don't know if anyone has heard about this. It's been on the iPhone since iOS 13, but I haven't covered it before because it's more of an advanced topic. And what shortcuts do is they automate things on your phone. And I know that doesn't get us any closer to what it really does, but let me explain what I think a good automation would be. So if you take pictures, for example, let's say you're out and you're taking pictures and you want to share those pictures. So if you do that, you got to take the pictures and then you got to go in your photo album. And if you go into like Patty's photo album, you're going to be there all day looking for those pictures because there's a lot of them, right? So, and then you got to share them and you got to pick the people to share it with and you got to hit send, okay? What shortcuts do, you can create a shortcut to do that. You can take your picture and then you could say, let's say you call the shortcut send latest photo, okay? So you would tell Siri to send latest photo, right? And what it'll do, depending on how you got that shortcut configured, it will go find the latest photo, it'll stick it into a new text message, it'll put the people in that you designated to get those like family, and then it'll send it automatically without anything. You just tell Siri one command, and that's how it automates all those steps that you would normally do one at a time. That's the promise of shortcuts. So it's like I don't know how else we could use it, but I thought that would be a good way to use it if you wanted to share your latest photo you snapped, because it knows how to grab the last one because of the date and time. And then it knows how to
I had it set up to turn on voiceover.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
the three things on home before I discovered the Siri can do it.
Right.
So I don't use that anymore. And I haven't changed it to anything else, but I think you can set up magnifier and magnifier now is an app.
Well, that's a good point. That's on the accessibility menu. What this is, have you ever used a computer like in the past before, like in the DOS
Yes,
days?
years ago.
Like in the DOS days. Do you remember DOS batch files? I mean, I'm dating myself now.
No, no.
Okay. Well, you can take commands and stick them into what's called a batch file. And it'll run them one at a time to do something. That's what this really is. It's the modern version of that. So instead of you having to go through, find the picture, put it on a text message,
Mhm.
share it with, and then add the people and then hit the send button, you can just tell Siri the name of the shortcut you created to do all of that. And it'll do all those things and send it in a split second. And you don't have to do anything but take your next picture. That's what the shortcuts do. They're automation scripts. They're a little more advanced.
good.
They're not intuitive when you first use them. But once you start using them, you can automate things on your phone that are kind of laborious or take a long time to do now. So,
Oh, it was wonderful. Just turn on voiceover.
yeah, you
With
can
the
do
3
that.
clicks of the home button until I discovered Siri will do it.
You know, the candidate for these kinds of things would be sort of like, let's say you have an iHeartRadio app, and you know, you get a lot of stations in there that you like. You like a news station, you like country or whatever it is. But, you know, you don't want to go on there and say, I want to hear news today, or I want to hear country today. You just want to have a shortcut that says, that you can tell through Siri. You say, Siri, play my country station. And it'll go in, it'll open iHeart, it'll select your country station, it'll start playing without you having to do any kind of interactions. It does it automatically. That's what the automation piece is about. But again,
That's
this is a more advanced thing, but you don't have to create them. There's a lot of ones that are made already that you can download from others who have created them, and you might find them handy. They're in the app. I think they're also in the store, and I think you can even download them off the internet. Of course, you gotta go in your settings and trust the ones that you download off the internet. You gotta tell them trust those, and it'll let them in. Otherwise, it won't. And you might be able to find some things that you're doing with a bunch of taps and swipes that you could do with just saying something to Siri instead. And that's kind of the promise of all these shortcuts, these automation things. So,
Cool.
well, I'm at the last one. Going pretty quick tonight. So this is just a simple shutdown and startup of your phone. You know, a phone is a computer. Your iPhone is a computer. So is your iPad. So is your iPod. And every once in a while, they go haywire. They aren't programmed perfectly. Not all the ones and zeros line up perfectly every time, unfortunately. So that causes instability. And the only way you can solve instability sometimes is to shut it down and then bring it back up, just to clear it all out of its memory. And shutting down your phone, you really can't do it any other way except through a physical interaction. So you take the power button and you hold it for about 3 seconds. And then you're going to get this thing that says slide to shut down. And you tap on that or double tap on that. Even though it says slide, you double tap it. Then your phone will take about 15, 20, 30 seconds for it to completely power down, meaning it's just a dead piece of silicon at that point. Then you reverse the process. You press the button again on the side for like 3 or 4 seconds, maybe 5, let it go. And it'll take about the same amount of time to boot up, maybe up to a minute if it's a slower phone. And then your phone will be reset in memory wise and instability wise. And it should fix a lot of problems that you encounter. Like if you tell Siri to do something and it doesn't do it like it did yesterday, or if you tap on something and it no longer behaves the same way or it doesn't do something, that's usually a huge sign of an instability problem. So, and that's
Say
what I
that
wanted to
again.
do.
Say those steps again, please.
So to shut it down, you can see it, so I'm going to show you. You would find that power button on this side of the phone where I'm tapping on your right. And you
Right.
press and hold that. In fact, I'll do it and you'll hear what it says. I'll press and hold.
7.
And then, oops, no, not yet. Hang on. Sorry. Try it again.
7:42 p.m. 7:42 p.m.
Did it do it?
Try again.
Hang
No,
on.
no.
You, Manny, I thought you'd do the power and one or the other, the up or down.
Oh, I'm sorry for the iPhone 10s. Thank you. And maybe I shouldn't be teaching this class anymore.
There you go.
So,
Thank you.
yes, Patty's absolutely right. A dummy strikes again here. So it's the power plus one of the volume buttons, lower or higher. You press them both like that.
7:42 p.m.
Well, I have the iPhone 8.
I think it works the same way. And then the very top one is this.
Double tap to power off.
Double tap to power off. You double tap it. And then it'll power off. We'll give it like a 15, 20 seconds, just so it goes all the way down. Because even though it doesn't show anything, it might still be powering off. It's just not displaying anything right now. Now, when you power it on, you don't need both, just the one power
Yeah.
button. You just press and hold that for like 4 seconds. So it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you'll see a little Apple symbol if you have any vision. If not, just wait. And it'll come up as soon as it's ready. And let's see, it's still doing it. And you can have background music while you wait for it to come up.
And you
So
don't
that-
lose any data?
7:43
No.
p.m.
No,
No.
because you're shutting it down properly. That's the good thing. When you do that thing I showed you before with the 2 buttons, and then you hit double tap to shut it down, you're closing everything nicely. You know, the only way you can mess with a phone and not close it nicely is you rip the battery out while it's on. So it'll never happen. So it's no problem. And if
But
it
if you
shuts down, go ahead.
If you reset it, then you lose all the data.
No, all the data is saved. So if you have data on the phone or in the cloud, all it's doing is resetting the operating system. It's saying, okay, I'm just
Okay.
taking iOS and turning it off, clearing out the little demons or whatever's going on. And then we are starting fresh again. All your data will be accessed the exact same way as before, and it'll be there.
You know,
So-
my Kindle is almost 5 years old and I'm having to do that quite a bit. I
That's what
think I'll
happens when you get
soon,
older.
soon be in the market for a new Kindle.
Now, there is a
But-
Kindle app on the phone you can use, by the way, just so you know. You can download your
No.
books to the phone.
Oh, yes,
So
I've
got
that's a charge. You pay for it.
Well,
looked
I think
at
you
it.
pay the books. I don't think you pay for the app, but yeah, I mean.
Yeah, You pay
Depending
for
on.
it. It's Audible books. But
Yeah,
I don't want it. I don't want it on my phone because the Kindle actually has a much longer battery than trying to listen to books on the phone.
Oh, okay, okay.
I dedicate the Kindle to my talking books from Bard.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And the battery lasts quite a while, a lot longer than the phone would last.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
7:45 p.m.
And it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
100% charge. 100% charge.
Well, folks, I think that's all I had tonight. Since we have a lower turnout, there was less questions and banter back and forth. So we saved about 40 minutes. I didn't know it took that much of the time.
Well, Patty,
Hmm?
Patty, that's because
Yes.
you had the top of the class.
That's right. We have the A students here.
Because we came with our games,
We
we.
came with an A game. That's right. So,
Yeah, and you got the A team.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if there's nothing else that we need to talk about, I'll go ahead and we can let John know to stop the recording.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I always enjoy these classes. And
Yeah, thank you. And
I've been studying very hard over the years, and it's not, as you know, it's not easy.
yeah, yeah.
But I can see I have learned, but I'll
Good.
never know it all.
All of you guys in TSB have come a long ways in my book. I mean, you come a long ways in a year, this whole year.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really happy about that. That's really why I do it, because I really like to see people do better, especially the visually impaired,
Yes, it's hard work.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I've been reading the mail, so if you guys are done, I'm gonna
Yes, John, whenever
We're
you're
done.
ready.
Let's see if we get the,
All right, good night, John. Good night,
All
Patty.
right.
Night,
Thank you, guys.
night.
Thank you, John.